Hi, my name is Christine Rivera, and I chose for my topic stage fright, and I want to just help people who struggle with stage fright. And so the problem that I was trying to solve was everyone at some point feels stage fright, whether it's going on stage performing or whether it's actually going to an interview, presentations, and we all feel the same thing. We all feel very nervousness, like you feel anxiety, and it's stage fright is what it is. And so I wanted to find ways to help people with that, and so that way that they can have a better presentation or performance. And some possible solutions that I think I found was, well, the main thing is, I would say, is preparation and rehearsing. Because without that, unless you're an amazing, you're great at improv, then you can't really have a performance or a presentation without, having rehearsed it. And so something that I hoped to learn through this was really what is the source of stage fright, what causes it, and really, and so that way I can attack the problem from the source from the source. Um, and so the steps that I took in the beginning, or that I wanted to take in the beginning, was I wanted to find maybe about 3 to 5 students in the beginning theater and really work with them through this entire course of this project, so that way that I can not only give them the advice and tips on stage fright, but also I can see them and how they improve throughout each of their performances, because there's tons of performances, whether it's in class or on stage. And some obstacles that I did encounter it was kind of a hard time finding subjects to use, because it was hard because people were busy, they didn't want to really commit to it, and so that was a problem that I did encounter. And also a more recent problem was a video that I had was completely lost, and so I had to recover that. And so that was some obstacles that I had. And steps that I took that I actually did take was I interviewed a lot of the more experienced performers, even Mark Morris, and I got their advice and their experiences and what they learned from their experiences and how they would apply their advice to everyday day-to-day life. And so I got interviews and I used the tips and advice I got from them, and I gave those tips to the people that actually did struggle with stage fright, like a lot, and I think it helped them through their performances. So those are the steps that I took, and so I have a lot of, like, on my Weebly, I have a lot of like pictures of performances, of pictures of rehearsals, and again, so it highlights the fact that you can't have one without the other. You can't go out and perform if you don't rehearse. Rehearse is the main thing. And something that I feel like I did accomplish is I was able to help those few that I did work with for actually helping them with their struggles in stage fright. I was able to help them with their performances that they had. And something that I actually learned about this topic, about stage fright, was that stage fright isn't something that just goes away. Like, it's always something that you're just kind of gonna feel, and it's not a matter of getting over it, but just getting around it and knowing how to handle it. So that's something I did learn. Something that I learned about myself was that I actually learned it during a performance I was having, because I really haven't experienced stage fright in the past maybe year or so. I really haven't gotten stage fright that bad. And so as I was backstage, I was ready to go out, all of a sudden I started thinking of all those things that I had heard from the people that I was interviewing, and I was just thinking of all their fears that they were saying. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if that happens to me? What if I go out and I'm gonna sneeze on stage, which is what someone said. And then that's when I kind of realized that that's ridiculous. This is all in my head. Whatever, all these fears, that they're irrational fears. Like, they're not going to happen. Like, I feel confident in what I'm going to do, so I just have to go out there and do it. And so I kind of had to remind myself that. So that's something that I learned about myself. And something that I am particularly proud of was actually a short little mini story. I walked into the theater lab one day. There was auditions for the winter or spring showcase. There was a girl who was crying, and she was like shaking. She was having like a little bit of a anxiety, like panic attack. And I had talked to her, and I was like, after she calmed down, I asked her like, what happened? She went on stage, and she like just froze. She forgot like her song, and she just went off stage crying. And so after she calmed down, I was able to, first thing I asked her was, did you prepare? Did you practice? Do you know your song? And she said, yes, like I know my song. And so I said, okay, well, just go out there and practice or perform like you're practicing, as if you're in your room singing on your own. And that's what I do when I perform. So she ended up going out like later on. We did her audition, and she made it, and I actually stayed to watch it. And she made her audition, so that was something that I was really proud of, because it wasn't something that was planned at all. It just kind of happened like right in the moment. I wasn't even thinking of this project when it happened. And so that's something that I was proud of. And something that I wish I had done differently was, I really wish I started earlier than I did, so that way that I really could have do what I said I wanted to do, which was to really follow with the exact same people, like from the beginning to the end, and really see how like they've progressed to get like more accurate results. And so that's something that I wish I did. I think that I was in some way able to make a difference. I wouldn't say not in a big scale, but like in those people that I worked with, I feel like it did help. And even though like it's not going to be an overnight change where just all of a sudden not going to feel stage fright, it's something that you have to always remind yourself when you perform, because stage fright isn't something that like I said, it's not going to just go away. So it's a matter of how you handle it and how you like get better at handling it. And I think by giving that advice and those tips now, it's something that they can use for all the performances that they have in the future. And so I'd say that in that way, I think I did make some kind of a difference. And if I did have more resources and time, I think that I would. I don't want to say like join theater, like, because it's not for everyone, but I would say that I would start classes very similar to how a typical theater class runs, except not focused in plays and musicals, but more focused in just learning stage presence skills and improvisation skills. Because when you go out and you're doing interviews and you're doing presentations, like stage presence, it's something that you need to learn how to handle. And a lot of people don't, and that's why they feel so nervous. And another thing is why the reason why I say improvisation skills is something that's good to learn is also because sometimes you do forget what you're gonna say. And at that point, you need to know how, like, you can't just freeze. You have to keep going. And that's something that I think would be nice to do, to start like little workshop classes for people. If some advice that I would give to incoming seniors for the capstone is to don't wait, really to just attack this whole thing from the start. Stay current and don't be afraid of it, because it's not as scary as it seems. I thought it was really scary, and so it kind of like made me like really avoid it. But it's not as bad as what I thought it was originally. So I would say just attack it and just do it from the start. And and I think this is one step closer to conquering stage fright. So thank you.